Spoiler alert! Boba Fett is back alive and in the flesh. But how? The last time we saw Boba was in The Return of the Jedi, falling into the Sarlacc Pit. There's no way he could have survived that. Well, he did, and he's been continuing to add up to his legend ever since. So, what has our favorite clone been up to since nearly being digested? Up to The Mandalorian, Disney hasn't said much, but by looking at the expanded universe and canon books and comics, we will find our answer. And that is what we're going to look at in today's CBR video. The question we should be answering first is how the heck did Boba Fett survive the Sarlacc Pit? That place is inescapable. It's said once inside, you're injected with immobilizing neurotoxins that inflict constant pain until you're fully digested. By the way, the digestion process will take about 1,000 years, so get comfy. But somehow, Boba escaped. Unfortunately, in canon, we have yet to get a definitive answer of just how that happened, but we've gotten some clues from the canon book Star Wars Aftermath. From the book, we learn that Cobb Vanth, yes, the same Cobb Vanth from The Mandalorian, has Fett's armor and wears it in his mission to lead an insurgency against the slave system. Okay, but where did he get the armor? Did Boba hand it over to him? That would make some sense to why he's been able to hold on to the armor as long as he has. Well, not quite. Due to the explosion of Jabba's sail barge in Return of the Jedi, the Sarlacc was injured and was left exposed. Its stomach tubes were found split open, which allowed the Jawas to do what they do best: raid for treasure. It's here they found the armor, and possibly even Boba Fett. Although unconfirmed, Boba likely clawed his way out of the Sarlacc's damaged stomach tubes, but was left injured and burned by the creature's stomach acid. In his weakened state, he wouldn't be able to fend off the Jawas, and they stripped him of his armor. Eventually, that armor made its way to Cobb. Who's to say this is how it happened, though? Unfortunately, the info pulled from this book is all we've been given up to this point, and beyond Boba's armor, we can only speculate on how Boba escaped, which every Star Wars fan wants to know. So, if we're gonna speculate, let's speculate. Although it's in canon that the barge injured the Sarlacc, that would imply that it was luck that allowed Boba to escape. The Fett we know and love wasn't a man who allowed luck to create his legacy. He's a man of skill and would have played some role in his escape. So, to get a clearer picture on Boba's escape plan and what he's been up to over the last 5 years, we need to look beyond Disney's canon and jump into the expanded Star Wars universe, or Star Wars Legends. In the Legends book A Barv Like That, A Tale of Boba Fett, we find that the Sarlacc hasn't been injured by Jabba's sail barge, and Boba is immobilized inside. His armor melts around him due to the creature's digestive system, and it doesn't seem like there's a way out. Then, a miracle happens. Somehow, Boba connects with one of the Sarlacc's first victims telepathically, named Susejo, who had been fully digested by the Sarlacc over thousands of years ago. However, his personality and consciousness had been absorbed, making Susejo and the Sarlacc one and the same. Boba had many lengthy conversations with the Sarlacc, or Susejo, and was eventually able to goad the creature into contracting its innards around Boba's jetpack, causing it to explode. The explosion released Fett from the Sarlacc's grip, and after throwing a concussion grenade and blowing a hole inside the creature, the Sarlacc spewed Boba out, allowing him to escape. Unfortunately, although alive like the Sarlacc, Fett was left injured and unconscious. Now, although this story isn't canon, it does fit the narrative told by Star Wars Aftermath. While the barge played a role, it was the jetpack and concussion blast that ultimately affected the Sarlacc. With Boba injured, the Jawas would be able to strip him of his armor while he lay unconscious in Tatooine's sandy sea. However, this may not be the full truth, as there is more to this story, and if we want to know what Boba's been up to, we need to dive further into the EU for answers. So, what do you think Boba's been up to since his Sarlacc escape? He probably went back to his ways as a bounty hunter, right? Nope. You want to know what Fett's been up to? He fell right back into the Sarlacc. Picking up right where we left off in the EU comic number 81, the unconscious Boba Fett is taken aboard the Jawa's sandcrawler. Here's the kicker. When he wakes up, he has no idea who he is and can't recall anyone from his past. Here's the second kicker. Also aboard the sandcrawler is R2-D2, stolen from Luke and his band of rebels, so you know they're on their way. Man, you can't catch a break. Time passes, and Han Solo and Leia spring into action to rescue their astromech friend. Things get a bit hairy though when something or someone starts firing on the Jawa vehicle and Han accidentally falls inside. Good thing Boba has no idea who he is. They both have enough to deal with as the Jawas abandon ship and the out-of-control sandcrawler speeds towards the Sarlacc. Boba assists Han out of the vehicle, and despite their history, Han tries to lend a hand to Fett. Due to Leia's repeated calls to Han, Boba's memory returns and he doesn't skip a beat opening fire. With no other option, Solo dives from the sandcrawler and Fett crashes back into the Sarlacc. Now, it's not clear how long Boba was in the Sarlacc this time. It could have been months, but if Boba escaped once, he can do it again, and did. Using a similar technique, Fett rocketed out of the Sarlacc, but this time the damage was done. Boba was scarred, his skin deformed like Darth Vader after Mustafar, and his armor was almost non-existent, melted down from the stomach acid. Introducing Dengar, a Corellian bounty hunter who came to Tatooine to search the wreckage of Jabba's sail barge. He hoped to find something of value, and value he found. Although he didn't realize it at the time because, he's deformed and all, he found and saved Boba Fett. When he found out it was Boba though, all bets were off. You see, Boba kind of crossed Dengar twice, so you could imagine Dengar wasn't too happy to see Fett or happy that he saved him. Enraged, he wraps his hands around Boba's neck but stops when his wife walks into the scene. Dengar soon realizes that Fett has had a gun to his chest the entire time and could have fired but didn't. Their dispute ends, and over some time, they develop a friendship. In the EU, the two begin to team up together on missions. In one comic titled Boba Fett, Twin Engines of Destruction, a sorta kind of bounty hunter named Jodo Kast acquired Mandalorian armor and played make-believe. He tricked people into thinking he was Boba Fett. So, Boba disguised himself and took the name Sava Brek Madak to trick Kast and finish him off by making his jetpack overload. Like we mentioned earlier, this story and Boba's escape from the Sarlacc Pit is all from the expanded universe, meaning in reality, none of it actually happened. But much like Star Wars has done with the sequel trilogy, the expanded universe has made its way back into canon. So we can use these legend tales to depict where Boba has been and what he's been up to. When we finally see the return of Boba Fett in Season 2's premiere of The Mandalorian, there are a few things to point out. One, it looks like Boba has become somewhat of a hermit. Dressed in dark clothes and carrying weapons similar to what we would see on a Tusken Raider, it looks like he's been on Tatooine for some time, which is highly likely. It's like the planet has its own unwritten rule, but why did Boba stick around? Well, like in the EU, Boba could be hiding away from the galaxy who still believes he's digesting in the Sarlacc's stomach. Also, who's gonna look on Tatooine? It's a planet full of slaves and sand, and we all know Anakin's not the only one who despises it. Or, possibly, Boba's changed his ways. Like we saw in the EU comics, Boba isn't just a cold-blooded bounty hunter. It's possible that after surviving the Sarlacc, he's realized that this isn't the life for him anymore. Who wouldn't after almost losing their life twice? Either explanation explains why he hasn't ripped the armor from Cobb just yet, or sent him to a galaxy far, far away for using the armor without his permission. If he takes back his recognizable armor, the galaxy will know he's alive, and that puts a target right on his back, bounty hunter or not. This leads to another theory. It's possible that, like in the EU, Fett is still active as a bounty hunter using names like Sava Brek Madak to use his work discreetly and uses Tatooine as his home base. Much like Luke thought the Raiders were behind the attack on his family, the galaxy wouldn't be able to tie anything to the clone because he's using a Tusken weapon. Cobb keeping and using the armor is his cover story because as long as Cobb has the armor, the more people will think he's still Sarlacc food. If this is the case, then why now? Why, after 5 years, did Boba decide to show his face to the galaxy? Well, we can also look at the EU comics for that and what he did to Jodo Kast. While Fett isn't a Mandalorian, he knows where his armor hails from and what it represents. Seeing someone in armor similar to his, coming to Tatooine and then leaving with his former armor could make Boba think someone's trying to take his name, legacy, and honor. Having similar Mandalorian armor isn't enough, so whoever this guy is needs the real thing to impersonate Boba. Also, if Fett is still in hiding, then Din Djarin leaving Tatooine with the armor is a huge problem. Of course, we know Din isn't going to don Boba's armor, but Fett doesn't. So now, Boba is on the job. Take out Din Djarin or be revealed to the galaxy. I imagine throughout the season, Boba will stage different traps for Djarin, which will all fail, leading to their eventual encounter, where they'll meet face to face and battle it out. Our favorite clone versus our new favorite Mandalorian. Who will win? Well, we can't say just now, but we do know we'll get the answers about Boba's past, which we've all waited years for. Maybe everything we presented here will be correct, and you can all come back and say, "Oh my gosh, CBR was right!" We'll have to wait and see. However, if we are right, you gotta promise to come back and subscribe to our channel. Deal? So what do you guys think of Boba Fett's return? Did we nail his last 5 years right on the head, or did we miss something? Let us know. Also, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because now that The Mandalorian is back, we have plenty of videos coming your way.